and he tries something and it gets blocked. And it's a pretty open look for him. That one got contested and missed wide right. And here we go again. Pretty contested by, wasn't that Michael Porter?
Yep, that was.
Yep. And a pretty open shot, and he had to fling that at the clock. And a pretty open shot, and he missed it wide right. And it's a pretty good look for him, and it's way wide right. These aren't even close, Shannon. They're ticking off the iron wide right. They're ticking off the iron. Do you know how devastating that is for that team at home? Those two guys have had playoff moments over the last several years where they lit it up.
Yes.
Instead, their roles were played by a couple of stand-ins. It's almost like a Broadway play when you need somebody to stand in, right, for the night.
Right.
And the roles were played by Aaron Gordon and Bruce Brown, who just took the game 4 just completely over, to the point that now I step back from this and I say, I just watched Miami play the equivalent of 2 Atlanta games. They started off this whole playoff run with a playoff play-in home loss,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And they stunk against Atlanta because, remember, they got out-rebounded 63-39, and they lost 116-105 when we least expected it, and it forced a mulligan play-in game, a do-over against the Bulls. And they were down 3 with 3 minutes left in that game before they started their Cinderella magical run. Okay, so I saw back-to-back Atlanta-type games where I kept saying, I don't really see the urgency. I don't really feel the flow or the chemistry. I'm going to credit Denver's defense. It's better than I thought.
Yeah.
I think it's very well coached. I think they know to close out these shooters and at least get some kind of hand up.
Yeah.
But I think Boston got its hands up, and it got shot right in the eye.
Well, Skip, if you watch the Denver Nuggets, they didn't fall for the curl and the flare screens. They didn't get really any contested looks.
Yeah.
They challenged a lot. Yeah, Yo got in foul trouble, but that's what you have to have. Give Mike Malone credit, the head coach, because he kept these guys together, even though their best player was on the bench for about 7 minutes, seemed like about 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. Those guys, there's like Jamal, but Skip, you mentioned, Yoke only had 4 assists. Jamal Murray had 12 with 0 turnovers. So you still had a guy. They do a great job. They never take both of those guys off the court at the same time.
No.
So you always got a guy that can initiate the offense. You got a guy that can run the offense. That's very good assist to turnover ratio. Jamal Murray, 12, 0 turnovers. I think it's the first time you've had guys that had double-digit assists in back-to-back, I think 3 consecutive games in an NBA Finals game. Just goes to show you. But Aaron Gordon was aggressive. Bruce Brown is always going to be aggressive.
Always.
He's looking to put his head down. Skip, he's going to the rack. Now, if you give him a wide-open 3, he'll let it go.
He will. He's really good at what he does.
He's really, really good.
And wasn't he that way for Brooklyn?
He absolutely was. And you see Yoke on the side with his towel, he's cheering them on.
Yep.
That's making them feel like, oh, we got this. Once I saw Bruce Brown come in and Skip, he got an and one. He did a reverse up. I'm like, what?
I know. That reverse shot was big time.
Hold on. When did you turn into Dame Lillard? You going up and under like this. I said, okay. I said, it's over.
You sat back and said, I got this.
Yeah, I said, it's over. He doing all that. I said, it's over.
Bruce Brown. Thank you, Bruce Brown. Okay, back to Jamal. He has made so many momentum-breaking shots in this finals so far, and he made a huge one.
That 3.
We can see it. Yeah, it's with, I wrote it down here somewhere. I'll find it. Jamal. Yeah, Jimmy makes an and one at 8:42 left. It cut it to 5, and here's Jamal. Here's Jamal off that little curl off the screen, and he just rips it, and it ripped the heart out. You could just see the body language of the home team and the home crowd. I think that it just felt like, and that's their bread and butter play. They love this play. They called it out of, this is out of a timeout, and he just took it and ripped it. And when you do that, it just, you could say, I think a lot of people in that crowd's late arriving, early leaving crowd. And I think a lot of people said, okay, that's enough.
Yeah, Skip, there's something about a play that when you come out of a time, okay, you get an and one and you didn't call a timeout. There's something to be said when you come out of that timeout and you run a play and you get a bucket on it. Whew. That wasn't just a bucket. That was a momentum crushing 3.
Yeah.
Because if he misses that, now they go the other way, Skip. Now they got a really chance.
To cut it to either 3 or 2.
Yeah, so now they really put you in some kind of way. And you know you got Yoke on the bench for another at least 3 to 4 minutes before they do anything because they don't want him to pick up that 6th foul.
Okay.
How many times have we seen Jamal Murray do this? We saw him do it time and time again to the Lakers. We saw him do it time and time again to the Suns.
We did.
Every time they made a lot of it, Skip, the buzzer, it was like the shot clock going down. Because, Skip, remember LeBron just looked at him and gave him a thumbs up. He's like, bro, I don't know what else I can do with that. Hey, D-Ham, thumbs up to the man, because there ain't nothing else I can do. How many times Jokic hit a shot, Skip, with the shot clock winding down, and AD just turned to look and like, what you want me to do?
Yep. Okay. I'm not talking about walk-off clutch because he did miss the shot at the end of game 2. Okay, I got it. After he'd made 2 big ones in a row to get them back in the game in game 2.
Yes.
I'm talking about momentum busters.
Yes.
Like where you need a bucket.
Right.
And you actually prefer a 3 because threes, as we've talked about many times, it used to be the slam dunk just was what ignited the crowd. It's a 3-point era we're in. And there's nothing like the impact of a 3 or a missed 3. But a made 3 is just a road killer.
Skip, you covering the game when I was growing up.
Yep.
Skip, 20-point leads were safe.
They were.
There's no lead in the NBA safe not with that shot.
No.
Guys, I mean, you can have a 25-point lead, and you go on a cold streak for about 3 minutes, and before you know it, you up only 3 or 4 points because somebody's going boom, 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 hit 3 threes, or 2, or and 1 the next day. You know, like, well, hold on.
Okay.
What happened?
C, Duncan Robinson. C, end of game 2, the 4th quarter. Denver goes in up 8, and Duncan Robinson scores 10 points in 2 minutes with 2 threes and 2 twos up and under where you challenge him at the line, and he just goes up and under and lays it in.
Right.
He's 6, what is he?
6'7",
yeah. The point is, he's been my best player. Well, I'm not going to win a bunch of games with Duncan Robinson as my best player. Going into the playoffs, he was in the doghouse. He'd been hurt. He'd been out of the rotation. And all I got is Duncan Robinson? Really?
And he played good for you again.
It was beautiful.
5 or 7, 2 or 4, got 12 points.
Every game he's played big for Duncan Robinson.
Right.
But right now, if Michael Malone is watching, he's like chuckling like, we'll give him all he wants. I mean, they're going to contend, and they'll contest.
I thought Kyle Lowry played well.
Yeah.
Caleb Martin, Skip.
No.
I mean,
he's come and gone.
Yeah. I mean, you figure Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, they were 1 from 9 from 3.
Yep.
And they were what? 10, 22, 6 or 22 from the field.
Yep.
You're probably not going to win a game like that. Especially, Skip, they need those role players to play well, and they need Jimmy Butler to play like he did against Milwaukee.
Okay.
That's the only chance they really had for them to win this series. And he hadn't been Milwaukee Jimmy since Milwaukee. Yeah, he played well against the Knicks. Skip, let's not minimize that.
Yeah.
But in order to beat this team, when you got 2 players playing at the level of Murray and Jokic, and you get their role players all of a sudden starting to get their legs and get their confidence with Bruce Brown and Aaron Gordon. Yeah. Well, Jimmy Butler, he has to average 30, and he has to do it in an efficient manner. And he has been anything but efficient, especially in this series, with the exception of Friday night when he went 9 of 17.
Thank you for bringing up, quote unquote, playoff Jimmy. 56 points he scored against Milwaukee. I looked up the numbers of that game. He was 19 of 28 from the floor. He was 3 of 8 from 3. He's not a very good 3-point shooter, but he was 15 of 18 from the free throw line.
Right.
The points piled up at the free throw line.
Yes.
Over the last 9 games, that's 5 against Boston and 4 here against these guys. That's 9 games. Here are his averages. 22 a game, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. They're pretty good, but they're not good enough.
No.
Okay. They're pretty good player numbers. I'll even give you star numbers, but they're not superstar kind of numbers.
But Skip, in order for you to win a championship like this, if your top scorer is going to have 22, you better have another guy with 20. You better have another guy with 19, a la what Detroit did when they took down the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. You better have a lot of consistent guys that's high teens, maybe low 20s. Okay. But when you got Jimmy Butler with 22, and I don't know what's the next closest to him, probably like, probably like 16, 18. You get the 3-ball, Skip. That's what won them against Miami. That's what beat the Knicks. That's what beat the Celtics.
Yep.
They were shooting 40+% from the 3.
Okay.
They reverted back to the mean. Eventually, Skip, you just hope the dance end before midnight and they don't see you undress and see you in your work clothes. you still in that nice gown.
I know.
Skip, I believe the clock has struck midnight and we see them in their work clothes. We see the Heat for who and what they actually are.
Jimmy has been wearing work clothes. Jimmy up through game 2 of the Boston series. Remember, he opened up Boston game 1. He scored 35 at Boston. He scored 27 in game 2. Up to that point, he was averaging 8 makes out of 10 attempts at the free throw line per game. 8 out of 10. Well, if you can get 10 average, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Since then, he's 5 out of 7. And he missed 2 at the end of the half the other night. He missed both of them. And he goes 6 of 9 at the line. And now from the floor, he's 46%. Well, he needs to be over 50 if they're going to have a chance. He's 34% from 3. Not shocking, but you need somebody to have a hot hand, even him. And from the line.
The Denver Nuggets seized control of the NBA Finals last night. Now they're favored again on the road in Game 4. Jokic and Denver 3.5-point favorites, as a matter of fact. That, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Eddie Howe's still rolling with us this morning. Eddie, what shot do you give the Heat at winning Game 4, defying the odds makers?
Well, I'll tell you this. If Jokic and Murray play the way they played last night, the Heat have a 0% chance to win the game because they put them in so many different pick and rolls. And I was watching it, and to me, I was like, you got to mix up the coverage. They tried that. They trapped. But I'll give Denver 100% credit because their spacing was impeccable. Every time they ran a pick and roll, there was so much room for whoever it was and they made the right play. Whoever it was for, they had space to operate, and they were able to go to work. They had great spacing offensively. Again, I thought they played harder. But if like I said, if those guys come out and play that way, I give the Heat 0% chance to win because it's virtually impossible to let 2 guys get 30 and then you guys off the bench giving double figures. You're going to lose that game, especially the way Heat struggles to score. So I give them a 0% chance if Murray and them play the way they did, Murray and Jokic.
Go ahead.
Here's what happened. Denver came out last night and played like it was do or die because I think in their heart of hearts, they thought it was do or die. Tomorrow night, the home team will play like it is do or die because it just flat out is. That's how it feels. And I disagree with Eddie. I don't care how Yoke and Jamal play because they'll play very well. But if Miami comes out and hits 23s tomorrow night, okay, well that's the difference maker. That's the great leveler of the the playing field, right? Make 23s, make 19 threes, 18 threes. They can do that.
Well, the Nuggets are due to make 23s too.
Yeah. Okay.
They do.
Well, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Jamal's due to have an off game too.
You look at Jokic and Murray. What I'm talking about is not only the points; they had 10 assists apiece. That right there, that's getting guys involved, sharing the basketball. That's why Aaron Gordon had his 11. Brown has his 15. Eventually, like you said, Michael Porter might pop. But to me, it's all about the fight with the Miami Heat. Are they going to come out with the sense of urgency, with controlled desperation? I said that yesterday. The team who played with controlled desperation is going to be the team that wins, and it'll be the same way tomorrow. But Denver looked like a team that is on a mission. And sometimes when it's your year, you can feel it, you can smell it, you could taste it. And the way that they've been playing, I mean, they've been playing like this all year. And for the first time, it looked like Miami a little bit weary in the legs. First thing to go is your jump shot when you tired.
And sounds like Eddie House just jumped ship on the Miami Heat that he played for.
I'm not jumping ship.
Yes, you did.
I'm giving a clear, real analysis on what's going on.
You get that critique. That's what you do.
That's what I'm doing. I'm giving
I hear a lot of ifs in this. A lot of ifs. If Joker and Jamal, right?
I think really, though, I think the Heat's legs are kind of getting from under them. Think about it. They've been in playoff mode since early April.
Okay,
and think about grueling basketball games. So
Eddie House, who wins tomorrow night? That's what I want to. Who wins? Lay it on the table.
I'm gonna go with the Heat. I gotta go with the Heat.
Thank you. We finally got there.
Heat.
Took all that.
My heart is saying Heat.
Yeah.
My heart ain't saying that. My head and my heart say you better pick the Nuggets.
Yeah. I hope you don't have a heart attack tomorrow night.
Okay. All right. I just want you to know, come Monday, y'all better win. The Heat, Eddie, you know this. If the Heat do not win tomorrow night, this thing is over on Monday night.
Yeah, it's over. Y'all made me walk all the way around to finally get to to say the Heat, man. I was trying not to jinx them, but I mean, it is what it is. My heart says the Heat.
They are certainly the more desperate team, that's for sure. All right, Eddie, thanks for rolling with us this morning. We appreciate it.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, gentlemen, Dalvin Cook. Who do you think he's going to suit up for next season? Let's dive into that topic on the other side of this break. Tonight, and they're favored again on the road in Miami in Game 4. Jokic and Denver, 3.5-point favorites this time over Miami. That, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Shannon, who wins Game 4?
I'm going with the Nuggets. I've always felt that they had the better team. I believe they have the deeper of the team, even though a lot of their role players aren't playing well. But you got 15 points from Christian Brown last night. Aaron Gordon gave you a solid all-around game, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Did a good job. I mean, Jimmy got his points, but look at the number of shots that it took Jimmy Butler to get those points. Yeah. Michael Porter Jr., KCP, Bruce Brown, all had one field goal. So they really needed Brown. They really needed Brown and Gordon to do what they did to give some assistance to Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. 20 points in the first half after being remember now he only had 18 in all of game 2. And remember, he got up to that great start the first half of game 1, and then he's kind of been caught for the last 6 quarters. And Jamal Murray said, "Y'all, I'm that dude last night." But he attacked from the jump. And when they're playing like now, if you don't stop, you can't let both of them get off, Skip. You got to try to contain one. Yep. Now, it's a lot easier said than done, and I sit up here and say you got to contain one or the other. But it's very difficult. You let both of these guys go get 30-point triple-doubles, that probably won't ever happen again in this series with these two. But you already know Joke's going to give you a double-double.
Yeah.
He's going to give you at least, high 20s, probably somewhere around 15 to 20 rebounds, and he's going to give you somewhere between 8 and 12 assists.
I agree.
You know that.
I know that.
But you got to keep Jamal Murray calm. You got to keep him calm, because if you don't, you let him go crazy like this, they control the game, and they just dribble handoff you all night, or pick and roll all night.
Okay. To your point about Jamal. The truth is, the God's truth is, I don't think anybody on Miami can stop Jamal. I think only Jamal can stop Jamal, because there are nights when he just goes cold.
Yeah.
And he misses a lot of shots, and it's like weird. And it happened in game 2 until very late in the game, and all of a sudden he caught fire.
Right.
And it was almost enough fire to get you back.
Right.
Okay, so
that might have been what got him going in game 3, because he did see a few of those shots going late in the ball game, and he just picked right up where he left off.
Last night, he came out with that look in his eye from jump.
He did.
He looked like he was the most desperate player on the floor. And what did I say going into last night? It felt like a do or die for the Nuggets last night. And all of a sudden, it's funny how these things work. This is why I do love me some NBA playoffs. All of a sudden, the script got completely flipped. And now it feels do or die for the Heat.
Yeah.
From game 3 to game 4, do or die Nuggets, do or die Heat. I'm hoping that I see a very different Heat team. If I see the real Heat team come out tomorrow night with that look in all their eyes, and I don't know where Christian is going to be, but somebody's got to come to play on Sunday. It's got to be Gabe Vincent. It's got to be somebody besides the big two.
Dẫu mà trời còn là mưa lâu dài, giọt buồn giọt tuổi đêm ngày, cây cột mẹ ruồi mãi lá nghèo cũng đừng dột xiêu. Dẫu mà cơn nắng bấy lâu mà dây bầu, mây còn không héo mới mưa dầm, mây lại héo dày.
About minutes now. I need somebody that can provide me 10, 12, 14 points on a consistent basis. And you said that Tyler Hero is a 20-point-a-night scorer, former 6th man of the year.
Yep.
I need those, because the thing is that Bam and Jimmy, they're getting their points, but look how inefficient they are. points in game one, but he took 25
Ai
shots.
mang hết kỷ niệm ngày con thương, ai như áng mây